What is up, you crazy son of bitches? Welcome back to the GITN podcast, where we cover the true crime, the paranormal, and conspiracies.
That intro seems to get faster every time.
Because I'm getting good. The conspiracy tonight we're doing.
No, not that. I'm talking about the video.
Oh, I thought you were paying me a compliment. But tonight we're doing conspiracy. We are doing the JFK assassination.
Or something like it. No, it's the RFK.
Oh, yeah, RFK. My bad. Jesus Christ, I had JFK on the mind.
This is Robert. This is Bobby.
The other Kennedy, Maryland, was tapping. Or I guess being tapped by would be a better...
It is slightly more detailed or slightly more specific than the other dead Kennedy.
Which this is actually very interesting because some of our past episodes, we've covered MK Ultra. On several attempts, I might say. This is a very good could be a case that another MK Ultra was.
Oh, we're diving deeper than that.
Yeah, I mean the assassin who we will cover.
Short notes for me. 8 pages.
Probably most definitely was a target or a victim of MK Ultra. So.
Quite possibly. It could have been a thing.
Could have been a thing.
So, I do have this part right here. Just to give for anybody who doesn't know about Robert Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy was not only a pivotal political figure serving as Attorney General and U.S. Senator, but also a 1968 presidential candidate whose progressive stance on issues such as civil rights, organized crime, and U.S. foreign policy continues to resonate. His passion for reform and his willingness to change powerful institutions made him both an icon and a target, which we will dive into in this episode. That's just for anybody who, lives under a fucking rock, doesn't know who Bobby Kennedy is.
Not the one currently holding a position in the administration.
That would be his child.
That would be Junior.
That would be his
RFK
his cum pet.
Yes. But and this is actually we can talk a little bit about this because this is a topic. There was a recent drop or a day or two ago, or yesterday, I think.
It clearly wasn't good because I don't even know about it.
They did drop some of the JFK files.
What? They collected this many skull fragments.
Well, here's the thing. I've heard it was a big nothing burger. Mm-hmm. I've not read it or really dove too deep into it.
Does it have anything to do with the fact that, allegedly he was shot through the front?
I did not hear any of that. This was more... People, I wonder if people actually think there's going to be some documentation that basically says, this is the CIA, we did it.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Is the CIA going to take up for it? No, they're going to have the president say it. And if they do it under Trump, it's not even going to be good. He's going to be like, on the subject of John F. Kennedy, bad. That's it. He's just going to move on to the next topic.
I think everybody on the planet now kind of realizes that probably Lee Harvey Oswald probably wasn't the only shooter. There was somebody behind him. Was it the Russians? Probably not. The CIA played some kind of role, and I believe from what I have learned or heard about this, the latest drop, which I have to say they did not drop everything. There's still more to come.
No way.
But it's probably going to be the exact same thing. There were probably multiple conspirators. Possibly the Mossad had played a role. Naturally, the mob probably played a role. Several people, I don't want to say joined forces, but it just wasn't the CIA. Even though the JFK assassination was a coup, and that is what the CIA does best. But there was a lot of people that disliked both Kennedy brothers. So it should not be shocking looking back with hindsight that what we were talking about tonight, the assassination of RFK.
Yes.
That was a no-brainer. You knew it was going to happen.
Right.
You could look back at it now and say, how in the hell did they not see this?
Yeah, they probably should have. beefs it up a little.
I mean, and no disrespect to the dead, but I think if I'm a bit of a candy ass, I guess. If my brother took a bullet through the skull and throat
as a politician,
I think maybe, just maybe, I might say, you know what, I think I'm good.
Yeah, but you could say this, make the same argument for RFK Jr. His uncle and his dad got publicly murdered,
right,
over politics, allegedly.
Was he ever? He never held actually any political office, did he? No, I don't think he was ever. He was always a lawyer, and he was involved in other things. So he never actually has held office.
Drug addict.
Hey, you know, we are America. Damn it, we are.
I think that it's a good thing. I think that American politics could gain ground from having a human being who's honest about their past,
right,
when it comes to bad shit.
And let's face it, I respect more people that pull themselves up from a situation such as that than a regular politician, I would say, who basically they want you to believe they're goody-goody and they've done nothing wrong. I never inhaled because I didn't know how.
I didn't mouth bang that lady.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. She just sucked my penis.
Because that's not a sexual relation.
Well, it depends on your which was the whole argument. Depends on what your definition of sex is.
Yeah.
I consider foreplay. I'll go on record right now.
In that scenario, it counts.
Here on this podcast right now, I will go in on the record and say either a blowy or a handy is still sex.
Yeah, it's still sexual contact.
It's a precursor to the main event. It's the opening act, if you will.
You don't see like movie scenes where they're like, show us on the doll where the madman touched you. And they'd be like, the defense attorney's not like, well, they never fucked. Doesn't count.
Yeah. So, I mean, well, I don't even know where I was going with that now.
I don't know. When was JFK? What year was JFK?
Assassinated?
Yeah.
63. Mm-hmm. I want to say November.
It's always
3rd
earlier than I feel like I remember it to be. It was a faithful day. I remember I was a small child playing stickball in my trousers
and
with my PF Flyers.
With the JFK assassination, a lot of people forget or don't remember or just haven't learned. They knew there was an active threat. They actually thought it was going to happen on this tour, but earlier, I believe it was Chicago.
No, it didn't happen, and they're just like, oh, fuck it, it's fine.
You know, so there was it's kind of like that recent attempt that happened not too long ago. There was a lot of, how can we say, dropping of the ball.
I want to know how many, like, grown men in the 60s with their high pants and their suspenders were, like, sitting at the local bar. And they were like assholes like us back then. Like they're just sitting, their friends are sitting there all talking about the JFK assassination, and just some dude just chimes in. He's like, "Yeah, I couldn't believe that happened. My mind was blown."
Probably a lot. You know, I
they're
think,
like, Jim, it's too soon.
I think the 50s and 60s kind of get a bum rap. You never saw they were high class. They were always wearing suits. I mean,
honey, where's my 3-piece? I've got a flight.
You know, seriously. And now, you know, we're basically slobs. We look like slobs.
Yeah, fuck that. If I get on an airplane, I'm going comfy.
Granted, I would not want to wear a suit or dress pants every day, all day. I would probably unalive myself. I would be so uncomfortable. I mean,
you don't want to dress like fucking who was that? Was that Dennis Leary who played the stepdad in Sandlot?
Yes.
That's a deep dive.
That is.
You're all fucking welcome.
Well, you know, moral of that story is don't play baseball with an autographed baseball from Babe Ruth.
And also don't try to catch a ball with a brand new glove.
Yes. But
was that Sandlot? No.
Yeah, I think his glove
I think
was
he gave him an old one, didn't he?
I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it.
My glove's busted. Can't play. He said, hey, I'll keep an extra. I'm Benny the Jet Rodriguez. I want to play for the Dodgers one day.
I mean, the greatest line of all time that I've used in my coaching days. I've used it from The Sandlot.
What, you play ball like a girl?
No, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. I just take out Smalls and insert said moron's name.
You're killing me, black one.
Oh, you racist bastard.
If you only have one black kid, pretty easy way to identify them.
That is, I guess, if you say so.
I mean, you know.
But, you know, it is what it is. What else? I had something else I wanted to say. I don't know. Don't forget, if you're listening to us, I guess we're going to go ahead and get started with the episode. But before we do, don't forget, if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, be sure to head over to youtube.com at GITM Podcast, subscribe, like, and all that shit. And you can catch it live.
Or vice versa.
And if you're watching this, be sure to show some love and listen to us on your favorite podcast app.
That's way better.
Because let's be honest.
You don't have to fucking look at us.
Well, if you watch on Spotify, you do.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Speaking of, we were talking about that short.
About
the Stone Cold Steve Osberger's comment that I made.
Yeah.
I was talking about it with somebody at work. I was like, man, it's funny. I say offensive shit or what could be offensive and nothing. I try to say a fact or like information and everybody in the comments is like, you're dumb and fat and gay and we hate you.
That's true. My reaction was hilarious.
If I like sat down and like actually like just wrote out a mathematical problem and solved it properly with actual mathematical skill, people would be like, dumb fat idiot, probably loves wieners, big gay dumb head. But if I like the black one, that thing, if I just say some shit like that, nothing. It just flies under the radar. Everybody's just like, this is normal.
I mean, my reaction was spot on. I mean, it was super offensive, but funny as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, but yet if I sit here and I'm like, we're now going to solve this part of the equation, and we're clearly going to use the PEMDAS theory, parentheses, you go down the line, there's a proper route of which to take to solve things in order, and they're like, no, wrong. PEMDAS is cisgendered bullshit.
I do get a kick out of the comments when they
I don't even look at them anymore.
When they correct us.
Oh yeah, because
I made a mistake on the Manson.
Mm-hmm. What was with the fucking like serial commenter on the one?
He was on the live stream last week.
Was he?
Yeah.
The guy that was like just was sprouting nonsense.
I mean, I appreciate all the comments, but I had no idea what the fuck
I was like, what
about.
Was that person here last week?
I think he was here.
I was like, what the fuck is this guy's deal?
Yeah, I think he was in the chat last week.
That's the only reason I looked at those comments, is because I was like, that's a lot of comments for one of our videos.
I mean, and it was quick right after the.
Yeah.
I think by the time I went to bed, there was like 28. I was like, hey, I guess, whatever.
I was like, whoa.
I was like, we really pissed somebody off.
I was like, we have activated Colonel Felipe Fentanyl.
I mean, but you know what? Here's how stupid I am. I don't know if he was insulting us.
I have no idea what any of them meant. Like, some of them were kind of loosely related to the video.
I was just going to type back, huh?
Right?
Okay, thanks. No, but I like the comment.
Like, the dragon you are chasing is not here. It's on a piece of aluminum foil with a half of a McDonald's straw.
And a lighter.
Yeah. Like, calm down. Chill out. It's going to be okay.
I'm pretty sure he was in the chat that night.
Real rabble rouser.
I did not recognize him, but I appreciate his attendance and effort.
It was something. It was more confused than the youngest of the Jenner kids in like the mid 2000s.
Does Bruce want to be you can't say Bruce anymore.
They explained it on that Burt Kreischer thing. I think it was like they still want to be with women, but they got boobies now.
I just don't.
I mean, cool, whatever. It's just I'm just
don't.
like I just don't understand where you're coming from. Not that I give a fuck, because like I never gave a fuck.
Here, I'm old. I'm old and in my 50s, early 50s.
Yeah,
for the time being.
Yeah, you're an enemy of the LGBTQ plus community.
No, I'm not. I could really.
You just naturally are. You're a male of that.
Even though if I get called a boomer one more time,
you're not even a boomer.
I know.
You're not old enough to be a boomer.
I was like, I know. I dude, or dude or dudette. My mother is a boomer.
I was gonna say, like, my dad was a boomer,
and she will attest. She is in the chat. I'm not a boomer. My generation just gets fucking. Limp Bizkit said it all. With my
now your generation's the shitty one now. Not all of them. But your generation has now become the old generation that bitches about the young generation not having jobs that they still have.
No, my generation, the Gen X generation, we just don't give a fuck about anything until you piss us off. Because we are the last feral generation. You know, we were the last people. Well,
you just got roasted.
Oh, Lamont, go eat all the dick. Not even big African American dick. I want you to eat little small white dick.
Oh, that's racist. He's black.
I know. But I was cracking on little white dick.
Trust me, I know. I used to make black jokes about him all the time when we worked together. It was great. It made all the white people really uncomfortable. It was so much fun.
I forget what's either CNN or MSNBC was going through
one of the liberal outlets,
going through the generations and talking about it.
They're probably completely wrong.
And they literally forgot Gen X. A whole from I think Gen X is 65 through 80, I think.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I think they're all in 15-year increments.
I don't know.
But they didn't even mention us. And we like it that way.
Well, now we have a whole nother generation.
Alpha?
Yeah, we're on to Alpha now. Because apparently Alpha is supposed to be better than Zoomers.
Zillennials.
Yeah, apparently Alpha is supposed to be like less butthurt than Generation Z.
See, I think both my kids are Gen Z. I think my oldest just squeaked in. Just squeaked out of...
Twice in her life.
Squeaked out of millennial or right... You know, I forget. But, you know, it just pisses me off. Because my generation gave you Limp Bizkit, damn it. Gave you Kid Rock.
You're not helping your case.
Oh, fuck you.
I'm just saying.
Gave you all the cool music.
I will... that's not true.
That is
There's
fair.
been cool music since music has been a thing.
I beg to differ.
Mozart is cool music.
If you're into that, which I'm not against.
Stevie Ray Vaughan was cool music. Jimi Hendrix was cool music.
I think Jimi Hendrix was so fucking overrated.
I like Jimi Hendrix. I like Jimi Hendrix's weird songs. I like his weird songwriting.
And I don't think he was
And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I was singing Pink Pony Club at work today. This shit is catchy as fuck.
Jim, if next time we do our overrated, underrated, Jimi Hendrix, in my opinion, is super fucking overrated.
As a musician, or like as an act, or as a guitar player, because you have to separate them.
I'd say I will give him a little bit of props with his guitar playing, but
especially because it was upside down.
Well, he's left-handed, strung upside down for a left-handed genius. What movie?
I don't fucking know.
Ford Fairlane.
Never seen it.
Dice?
Andrew Dice Clay?
Yeah. Where he was a detective?
The most overrated comedian of all time?
Oh, I wouldn't say that either.
Not the most, but I do think he's overrated. I don't think Dice is that funny.
Oh, it was funny.
You know what? Let me rephrase that. As a fan of comedy and stand-up, I'm not even going to say he's not that funny. He's just not that funny to me.
Well, that's the way comedy is. There's a lot of comedians
that everybody's like, oh my God, I'll suck his balls off. And I'm like, he's whatever.
But I appreciate the joke. You know,
Like I know, I appreciate why it's funny, like to the right person, but I just
there's a comedian. Like,
I think it's his character and his cadence. Just I don't like. Just like Larry the Cable Guy. Larry the Cable Guy is not that funny. I bet you I would think he's way funnier if he stopped the Larry the Cable Guy act, because some people might not know this, but he doesn't actually talk like that.
Because most people don't realize about Dice. He's a great impressionist.
Yeah. He's a fucking Jewish kid.
Dice was just one of the bits in his act.
Yeah.
And it just took off, and naturally you're going to make whatever takes off, you're going to do it and make the money.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that he's like actually like a dorky Jewish kid.
Right. But I like Kennison. I think Kennison is a little overrated too. Well, I
don't know much about
He's not
Sam Kennison, honestly.
He was a shooting star that burned out way too quick. You know, he was there, and then he just went downhill real quick because, you know, drugs, alcohol, and hookers and blow will do that to you.
I mean, comedians are still like that.
Yeah.
It's just like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's overrated. Joe Rogan's not that, to me. I don't enjoy his stand-up that much. But at the same time, like Bert Kreischer, I think I probably like Bert Kreischer's stand-up more than I like him on podcasts.
Yes, I agree.
So there's levels to the shit.
That's like, I think Chappelle is a great comedian. I find him funny, but sometimes it's not like, I don't sit there and roll over laughing the whole time.
The one like Shane Gillis is the one that like continuously gets me currently. Like his shit is great every time I hear it.
And it's like Theo Von. I'm not a big Theo Von fan.
He's just so odd.
But I find respect, and I can enjoy his material, but it's not.
Theo Von made a lot more sense to me when I realized that he's been that weird forever. Right. Because if you go back and watch him on Road Rules, he's fucking weird when he was on Road Rules when he was younger. I think he even says that. He's like, sometimes I just feel like I'm on the outside. And like literally he's like taking his socks off and like walking through a creek somewhere, I don't know where, while everybody else is in a diner eating and talking about how weird he is and how he said something, apparently, I can't remember what it was. He said something like offhandedly racist on the RV for Road Rules, and you know how Road Rules was set up in the 90s. It's a very mixed brew of race and gender, but like all of them agreed, like the black people on the show were the first ones to be like, I just don't think he knows. I don't think Theo means any harm from it. I just really don't think that he knows like how a lot of the world really is. And he's literally just standing on a rock in a creek, and they're like, you fucking think? And then so he starts telling bits about 30-pound bags of hamster bones, and I'm like, that makes sense.
Like my comedic taste is more, I like comedians that will make me think. If like, what was it? What's the one comedian that died? Be more specific. I know. Oh,
recently?
No, back in the 80s. He fucking hilarious. He is fucking, but he's more one-liner. Oh, not Hinchcliffe.
Mitch Hedberg?
Hedberg, yes.
Yeah.
I find him hilarious.
Even those jokes are dumb as shit.
They're basically dad jokes.
Yeah.
But his delivery is so it's just so unique.
Yeah.
And it's clever. And it's so fitting with his look, but I find it hilarious. But the material is not that great, to where you take like Dennis Miller.
Overthought. Drawn out.
Yes, but it makes you think.
It's good. Like,
it's
I
one
like
of those.
Dennis Miller back in the day.
He'll do the joke, deliver the punchline, and it might be 3 minutes later for you. Oh yeah, I get it now. You know, I kind of like that. I
don't think there's anybody out right now really that's like really doing anything like that.
No, not anymore. I mean, no. I mean, you get a lot of the political, and here's what I hate about. Like,
Ow, my neck popped.
we're going to cover one more thing. Bear with us, and then we'll
I mean,
get to
this isn't a very long episode.
We'll get to
as
the show.
crazy as that sounds.
these late night talk shows
I don't even know who they are anymore.
with
Was it like James Corden?
no, I don't even think he does it anymore.
You know,
Fallon, Seth Meyers, and what's Colbert.
oh yeah, he does the thing now.
Yeah. People don't realize they're jokes, but they're supposed to. It started out with Carson and Letterman, and they were just telling jokes. Now, this is what upsets me about these people. They're putting their. That's fine. You can have your political beliefs, and you can even make jokes about in the political spectrum.
Well, especially when you're somebody like Colbert, who actually isn't a fucking idiot and knows shit.
But
If he talks about it, so I like Stephen Colbert. If he talks about it, he knows what he's talking.
But here's the thing: if you're getting your news from a joke, a monologue,
You're already off to a bad start.
Jimmy Kimmel, you need to get a life.
Aren't Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon like raging alcoholics?
Oh, maybe,
allegedly.
I don't know. To where, like, if you're watching a comedian stand up, he's going. The whole point of a joke is to catch you off guard and to say the most outrageous thing that you don't see coming. That's what triggers the laughter.
I just had a thought.
What?
Dane Cook is a copycat of Jim Brewer.
Wasn't he before Jim Brewer though?
There's no way.
I think so.
Jim Brewer's been doing this shit since like the 80s, I think.
You sure?
Yeah. You think it was young Jim Brewer and Half Baked. That was definitely before
Oh, yes, maybe.
Dane Cook was relevant.
Well, here's the thing. I
If you
like.
put them side by side.
Well, I don't think Dane Cook's as
Funny?
No, I love Dane Cook. I think he's hilarious.
I think Jim Brewer's funnier.
I think Jim Brewer reminds me more of a different version of Jim Carrey. It's so over the top to where sometimes I think that can get a little distracting.
You know who I don't think is that funny?
Who?
This is a hot take that a lot of people are going to disagree with. Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
He's funny. Like I don't question why he's as successful as he is, but like I don't know. It comes down to like as stupid and childish as it sounds. Is like if you can't say fuck, it's hard for me to relate to it.
I'm
personally, because like I say fuck a lot. So like when I hear people do stuff clean, I'm like, you're acting, because that's acting to me.
I take that back a little bit on what I said about Dennis Miller. There is one comedian that kind of pushes that a little bit, but it's not quite as bad as what's his name? Oh fuck! The guy from Britain was in The Office who roasted
Ricky Gervais.
Gervais.
He's hilarious.
Same kind of material. I don't want to say same kind of. It makes you think a little bit.
Yeah. But he also doesn't give a fuck.
Right, and he doesn't give a fuck.
He's funny as shit.
I think
Ricky Gervais is fucking hilarious.
He's one of the funniest people on the planet.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais is funny as fuck. That's why I also stand by the fact that like if you go back and watch the British Office, it's funnier than The Office.
I've never seen the British Office, but I would assume so because I wasn't a big fan of. I don't like what's his name, 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Steve Carell. I mean, I'm not shitting on The Office. Like The Office, I also think The Office is hilarious.
I mean, it's funny, but it's not something I could.
Neither. Carlos Mencia versus George Lopez. I'll pass on both.
I mean, if I got to pick one of them, I'm picking Lopez.
I mean, we're building the wall for the reason. The only Hispanic comedian we're going to keep after the wall's up is Fluffy, because he's beloved by all. I'll give him credit for somebody who's super popular. Like I actually do think he's funny. Carlos Mencia I'd never really thought Carlos Mencia was that funny. I don't think he deserved a TV show on Comedy Central.
No,
but Comedy Central was already dying at the time. Like if I had to pick between the two, I would pick George Lopez. But George Lopez, like, I don't find phenomenally hilarious personally either.
One more. Let's get into this. One more.
We'll come back to it probably.
At the end, we might come back.
One of us will be like, oh, this fucking guy.
There's one comedian that I think he's since passed away, is fucking hilarious, and every time I see him, I think he's
Ralphie May.
Ralphie May.
Yeah.
He is probably one of the most.
Or Patrice O'Neal. Patrice is fucking hilarious. Was.
Yeah, but Ralphie, I don't think got the credit that I think he might be one of the most interesting, and his delivery and his voice, he had the total package.
I mean, he's basically, he was kind of like, what's his face before what's his face?
Is that cousin to what's his nuts?
Second cousin.
Okay.
To what's his tits?
A
husband of what's her tits?
Once removed.
Who's her tits? Fuck, what's his name? He's like the new white comic that black people accept.
Oh, Gary Owens.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary Owens is hilarious.
Yeah. He reminds me, like, and it's not just because of like the persona or who they are. Like I mean, it probably is. Like, you have that stylistic makeup. I feel like he very much reminds me of Ralphie May. It's just because they talk about very similar shit. Not saying he's ripping him off at all, but like,
no,
they just.
I think you're right to a certain extent, but I think
because there can't be another Ralphie May.
No,
Ralphie May was fucking hilarious.
No matter, I don't know if because he was the size of a fucking house, it made it.
No, it was the way it was also the fact that he did it before, when there was a time where you could say shit that he said. You could openly, like, comedically mock people of another race, and people didn't get fucking butthurt about it because it was fucking funny, and it was arguably sometimes accurate. When he's talking about how he loves going to the ghetto movie theaters.
Oh,
he said, "You ain't gonna catch me scuba diving."
Yes, and his little bit on the fingering, all the different styles.
Yeah,
I chuckle every time I see that.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I said, currently, like I said, for some reason, Shane Gillis is. I can watch Shane Gillis's 2 specials over and over again and still laugh out loud at least one bit.
Shane Gillis has this thing. It's almost like
he's not doing stand-up. It's like he just is up there talking, and everybody has to listen to him. And that's what makes him so funny.
It's almost like, how can I explain this? It reminds me of somebody that's pulling one over on you. He's up there, and he's doing it, and he's like knows he's pulling one over on you.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he's weirdly pulls off the 2-handed microphone.
Yeah. And
like a no in stand-up, but he like is the king of it.
Well, there's 2 comedians I think that I would
pay to go see.
Well, I would pay to go see anybody, but
pay
that I really
an actual ticket and not a door fee.
That I think are actually hilarious now, and Tom Segura.
I've lost it for his character a little bit since the airline thing.
Oh, I don't even know about that.
Oh, they wanted him to like check his bag at some airline on some flight, and he pulled the "Do you know who the fuck I am?" thing, and like blasted this like attendant on fucking Twitter, and then deleted it and shit.
What the fuck's he flying commercial for anyway?
I don't know.
And Andrew Schultz.
I'm on and off with him.
I think their comedy is so intriguing, and it's complex.
Schultz is just repetitive to me.
His delivery is repetitive, which is part of what. But
Tom Segura, I think Tom Segura continues to get funnier because of his life, like, whereas some people already had kids and shit like that. Like his last special, and like hearing him talk about his kids now that they're getting older, some of his greatest bits are about his fucking kids, which most parents could have very similar stories.
Right.
But, you know, if you learn how to deliver it.
All right.
Whereas Shane Gillis is just like a bro nerd. That's probably what it is. He like, I feel like he speaks to people like me. People who like football, but also are really nerdy about like certain topics, like he is.
All right.
Like when he told, did you watch both of his specials?
No, I've seen clips of all of them. But.
Oh, dude, he's got one on YouTube and one on Netflix. You have to watch both of them. He has like a 15-minute bit about going to the George Washington's estate, and it is hilarious because it was during COVID. He's talking about how he's pretty sure they thought he was a special needs person because like he had the mask on and he's already, you know, he was like, as you can tell by my face, like kind of runs in my family, but I dodged it.
It nicked me. It nicked me.
Yeah.
I've seen the clip.
Did you see the clip of him talking about the slave reenactor that he ran into randomly out there?
No.
Oh God, it's so I cannot not laugh out loud at that part of the bit. He said they talk about how they let him all wander off on his own, and he like around the corner he gets to the slave quarters and he's like, ooh, fuck. Maybe this guy wasn't awesome. And, and a slave reenactor comes around the corner. He's like, oh, and he was like, the guy did not break character. He's like, oh, hello. How are you doing today, sir? Look at your fancy clothes. You must be a future man. And he was like, no, I'm from right here, right now. How'd you get out?
All right, let's get into this RFK shit. I think it's time to start the podcast.
Yeah.
40 fucking minutes later.
Is it?
Yes.
30. No, it's only 30.
Well,
this is what they come for. This is going to be a surprisingly short episode, weirdly,
Sweet.
for a conspiracy theory. For those of you that don't know, on June 5th of 1968, following his victory speech at the California Democratic primary held at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, California, RFK was fucking shot. They got his ass. They got him with the yacht.
Put a cap in his ass.
Yeah. They smoked him. Hit him with the pew fucking, I don't know, insert fucking the 38 terms for guns that they use now. The stick. The street sweeper. The gat. The fucking...
The gat. The 90s called they want their shit back.
The KK. The Kennedy Kryptonite.
Oh, wow.
KK-47. Wait, what number president would RFK Jr. be if he got elected next?
48.
Oh, fuck. Because that would have been my fucking... Because I would have chose that nickname if I was him next
Trump,
year.
Isn't Trump 45 and 47?
I don't fucking know.
You know, that's hard. Think about it. We've only had 47 presidents.
I don't check. Well, because it didn't... At least one of them have 3 terms before they put the rule in place.
What's him a jigger? I think Roosevelt.
That was a close one. Good thing we're not talking about Obama. Fuck.
Roosevelt, I believe.
I should have scared you after that one if we were talking about Obama. What's a majigger? Boo!
Roosevelt.
I had to explain that to somebody.
What?
I heard the term... I'll say it. I heard the term jigaboo.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I heard somebody say it, and I was like, the fuck? I was like, first off, racist. Second, you don't hear that one very often. And I actually had to, like, explain to somebody. I was like, no, that, like, I know you've never heard that because nobody's fucking used it in 40 years. But that's quite a offensive term. Didn't know that it was still a thing.
I don't think I've heard that since the 80s.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, it was like fucking Santa Claus and the M&Ms. It does exist. But I was like, damn, you're really throwing it back.
But I don't even know the basis of that. Jeez. I don't even get it.
I don't either, but I was like, I was appalled. I was shocked more than anything because I was like, oh wow. I almost forgot about that one.
Huh.
Nobody retired that jersey into the rafters yet.
No.
You still use that, I guess, if you want.
And it's almost just like a silly... It's so fucking silly.
Most of them are fucking dumb. That's why, like, most of the time I hear something racist, especially if it's pointed at me, I'm just like, you're fucking funny. And white. I don't want to hear it out of you. White people have no room to talk about anybody.
Oh.
They don't. You know who else doesn't?
Who?
Everybody else. We all fucking suck.
Yeah, but I love it. Everybody do you think white people invented slavery? No. Slavery's been going on since the caveman.
I was going to say slavery was around before white was a thing. Back before when everybody was still olive-skinned. Like Jason Momoa.
Yes. Well, soon we will all be that color.
You're going to go see the Minecraft movie?
No.
No, me neither.
We will all be the same color eventually.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the narrative here. The official narrative as we know it.
as we've been told. Let's
according to what we've been informed of, what has been forced down our gullets by the government,
by the man,
fucking the one that Eddie Griffin tried to fucking warn us about from Undercover Brother. You just watch Undercover Brother. There's an underrated fucking comedy movie that a lot of people haven't seen.
I keep getting that mixed up with the what is it called, the Black
Jesus?
No, Black
Klansman.
That was fun.
Oh, Undercover Brother is like the original Black Klansman.
Yeah.
Back when it was. Have you ever seen Undercover Brother?
Yeah, I've seen.
Oh my god, dude! When they went,
hilarious.
When they went to get into the headquarters and that fucking black arm came out and you had to like dap it up and it was like blackness confirmed. That shit was so funny, dude. And then you had Neil Patrick Harris out of nowhere.
Doogie?
Yeah. He was like the fucking the office bitch of like, I don't know, the black FBI, whatever the fuck.
The black FBI.
I know it had a name, but I don't recall. He had the orange soda in his Cadillac. The fountain. He was like, "We got you missiles in the headlights. We got you da 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 da." And I put that thing that you requested in there too. What?
Keep talking about.
And it was a fucking orange soda dispenser.
Keep talking.
Okay.
Go on with the episode.
Okay, so according to what we've been told, what the government wants us to think, the initial investigation of this says that Sirhan fired a .22 caliber revolver from a very close range, like within feet of Mr. Kennedy, inflicting multiple gunshot wounds that ultimately killed him. Oh, it was just called the Brotherhood. Man, you say that nowadays, it means a whole different thing now that all those prison documentaries came out. So Sirhan, again, 22, couple shots. Kennedy was struck 3 times with a 4th bullet reportedly passing through his jacket.
Pass through his jacket?
Yeah. Check my jacket, motherfucker. That's some prison shit. Hey, give me your paperwork.
I do find those shorts fascinating of people talking about.
Yeah,
I guess that's a whole podcast genre now. People from prison that have gotten out have podcasts and shit.
I think it really started with, well, I don't know. It started with what is it, 23-1, I think was like the big one for as far as like prison content, just like talking about your shit, because then End of Sentence came along, but I watch End of Sentence.
Yeah.
But I really think as far as like the podcast and shit like that, I think it all started with as far as like the prison gang politics thing. I think it was that Michael, what's his face, the former AB guy. Oh, that was on National Geographic that got out. That was like,
he's a
Native
American.
Yeah, I think he probably was a big thing that sparked a lot of that. Which we could talk about him, and I forget the guy's name, but he was Serrano or 18th Street or something like that, because they were in the same cell block as Sirhan.
Oh, yeah.
After they dropped out of their gangs. Yeah. Where was I?
I don't know.
Oh, the bullet in the jacket. Got it. Sirhan was subdued at the scene and subsequently convicted, cementing the narrative of a single gunman acting alone. There are some inconsistencies here. 1, forensic evidence and ballistics. The fatal shot entry wound. We will start there. The autopsy conducted by Dr. Thomas Noguchi, which you know it is accurate because it was done by a good rising sun Japanese man. Guang. What? This is why we need a soundboard. I need a gong. And I also need that sound that was in all the old ninja movies.
I think you just did it.
Maybe a cat and a dog. Be like, they went out to dinner.
I know the people who listen to the podcast and don't watch it probably think you are the most racist son of a bitch on the planet.
They can't see my tiny little eyes. and I can't see them because of my tiny little eyes.
Take off your glasses.
Then people think I'm kidding.
Then you say, open your eyes.
Well, people think I'm kidding when I say that I look more Asian without glasses on. Until I take them off and they go, "What the fuck?" And I'm like,
"You are Asian."
Yeah, it changes everything about me. I take them off and they're like, "No way, that's crazy." And I'm like, "Oh, hey." They're like, "Wait, why are you talking like that?" Oh, Nishimoto Masahashu, Tokyo Najiri Mitsubishi. Like, do you know any English now? What that is bomb. That's all you know? Hey. Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all. Even though that's fucking Koreans. Koreans have especially North Koreans, if you ever see videos of them, they have the most racistly stereotypical accent when they speak English. Our supreme leader. They actually talk like that. It's so funny. Huh. Yeah, did you see they opened the borders for like 3 weeks?
Between North and South Korea?
Like you could, if you set it up right, you could go to North Korea for like tourism.
Why?
Oh, I've been watching the videos of people that did it. It's fascinating. I don't know, like... The one guy said, like, he was like, by this time I was back in China, which is known to be an oppressive and strict country, and it felt like the freest place in the world.
I was going to say, isn't that like third world country look down on fucking North? I mean,
I don't know if they're still faking everything. They've gotten pretty good at it because like they did like walking tours in the one video, and I was like, it looks pretty normal. Like obviously very strict and like they're not allowed to talk to them for real, which you expect. But like as far as like the movement of human bodies from place to place, it looked pretty normal overall. Huh. Yeah, the one guy went to like a nightclub and there's guys there.
There's nightclubs in North Korea?
They're like karaoke clubs type shit. Like, you know, super Asian shit. And every song is like, they translate it like, our father Kim Jong-un is great. His dick is huge and he feeds us well. Just lies, you know, like most music. But the guys, they drank with them and shit.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Very interesting. I did not know this.
Yeah.
That they opened.
But again, allegedly, all that shit's set up.
What?
It's just allegedly almost everything you see there, if you go there as a tourist, is fake, and it seems like it. Oh, like the gym where all of the people on the equipment aren't speaking, and they're just like looking forward, and they're
paid actors,
employees of the gym, and they talk about how like people will wait in line to get onto the gym equipment that has the little placard that says that it's been inspected and signed off on by the supreme leader himself. Yeah, it's a thing. It's wild. Wow. Been watching a lot of travel documentaries lately.
Cool.
There's also a fucking place in, I think, Laos that is basically just an annexed piece of land by a high-ranking member of the Triad. And he like built a whole fucking city there with this crazy ass casino and hotel, and like it's supposed to be like an experimental region, and like it's just a giant money laundering thing. Like he's just like two Rolls Royces just in front, and the guy's like, "Those are for a display." He's like, "The fuck? You have display Rolls Royces? What the fuck? That's the most Asian gangster shit I've ever heard. What are you gonna do with your Rolls Royces?" "I park it in front of a casino because I can't drive anyway. I buy a very expensive Rolls Royce, and you bought a fucking car you can't say. Rolls Royce." Sounds like you're trying to talk to your dog. "How can I help you today? What kind of car are you shopping for?" "Roy." Got it. You got it. Porsche coming up.
All right. We are so fucking canceled. It's not even fucking funny.
Anyway, I'm allowed to say this.
You are.
So, again, the Japanese doctor, Thomas Nagasaki, revealed that Kennedy was shot from behind at extremely close range, less than an inch away, despite Sirhan being positioned in front of him, and this discrepancy raises questions about the trajectory and positioning during the shooting.
So basically, whenever a Kennedy gets shot, there's a magic bullet.
Yes.
Okay.
It's an ice bullet. We've established
Well, this one is a...
Mythbusters busted it, which means that it happened.
This bullet apparently could make a Yui.
Yeah.
He missed, and that's what it was. It's like
Aren't they working on that technology actually?
I think so.
Like guided bullets now too.
Genetically guided bullets, where it's honed into your DNA, I believe.
That's gay.
You fire a bullet from anywhere in the fucking planet, and it'll hunt you down within reason. I think travel time would be an issue, but
What about the Coriolis effect?
well, you listen to flat earthers, that's not a thing.
See, what do they argue? They're like, no, it just slows down, and non-existent gravity pulls it down.
Well, I think everything loses speed eventually. And naturally, if as the
Resistance,
boat loses speed, air resistance,
friction,
it's going to
slowing the inertia and the kinetic energy of the bullet.
But don't take your science from me. I'm a moron.
I mean, we both are. We just have smart things to
But
say
I'm
sometimes.
telling you, basically, this bullet went.
It went forward and then turned around.
Missed, and it just made a U and came back. That explains everything.
The bullet moved like the doctor that did the autopsy drives.
Okay.
Without reason, not making any sense, causing disaster wherever it goes. Because Dr. Noguchi. Racism. The bullet count, there's a discrepancy here as well. Sirhan's revolver had a capacity of only 8 rounds. However, forensic analysis have suggested that more than 8 shots were fired during the incident, with additional bullet holes found in the walls and ceiling, and such findings hint that at the possibility of an extra shooter. That's a very interesting way to say that. An extra shooter. Not a second shooter. They had an extra shooter.
He was the backup.
Or a misrepresentation of the sequence of events.
Now, you might have said this. How far away was...
Within a few feet.
Sirhan was that close?
Yeah.
I know I've seen the video.
Not an inch away like the autopsy alleges, but...
Well, isn't an inch called point blank?
Right?
Okay.
Wouldn't that just be execution style, usually? If it was in the head.
Yeah, I generally think execution style means to the back of the head, but...
Pew pew.
Hey,
Got smoked. Next, to go to the eyewitness testimonies and the quote second gunman theory. I don't know why it's quote second gunman theory. It's just a theory about a second, or it's the extra gunman theory.
Was there a grassy knoll in this?
No, it was indoors.
Wasn't a plastic palm
See,
tree
and that made
anywhere
me
around?
think. I was like, as far as people counting shots, that could get very confusing indoors.
Yeah, because of echo, yeah.
And also, just it's so fucking loud that if you're close enough to it,
Well,
with that many people packed in there too,
and let's be
you
honest,
probably aren't hearing proproperly.
witness
Well,
testimony...
it was only a 22.
Which isn't very loud. A 22
No.
sounds like a cap gun.
I've sat down on toilets and had shits louder than a 22.
Right. I mean, I could go in there and fire a 22, and you might not hear it in here from there.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, eyewitness testimony. People who are here, experienced this live, aren't worth a fuck as eyewitnesses. Whenever you go through that.
And plus, it wasn't like they saw it in black and white.
Yes, everything was black and white back then.
Yeah. It wasn't like everybody's like, I had a colored TV. Like, no. You saw everything in black and white until God saw fit for us to see colors.
But nobody that was there would be a reliable witness. You see somebody get shot, your brain...
Well, unless you're talking
Short
about security personnel.
Unless you're a trained observer like a cop or a soldier who is
Putin.
or accustomed
What
to...
if Putin was there?
Maybe. Well,
Maybe like 12.
if Putin was there, he might have done it, but he would have had like the umbrella.
He would have done it with his hand.
Umbrella with cyanide in it.
Yeah, he would have done it like Odd Job
What? What?
from James Bond.
Oh, I'm not a big James Bond.
Or the knockoff version from Austin Powers, Random Task. That guy ended up killing somebody.
In real life?
The guy that fucking boomeranged the shoe at him at the end and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he murdered somebody. He was a professional wrestler. No, I think he might have been a professional wrestler and or also a fighter, like a fighter.
Huh.
Fucking murdered somebody.
The more you know.
Yeah.
And who says we don't teach people things?
We just teach them things that don't fucking matter.
Random
all the actual shit and then questionable. The dumb facts, take it to the fucking bank.
Experts.
Like I've said it on this show all the time before. One of my favorite facts is to tell people that if you removed all of the negative space between every atom of everything of the planet Earth, it would be about the size of an apple.
Is that actual?
I believe so.
Did you hear this from
Neil deGrasse Tyson? Said it. He's an astrophysicist and he's black. You have to listen to him. If you say it's wrong, you're racist.
I knew he was the one who probably said this.
I think I've heard somebody else say it. As long as they're not white, it's factual. Otherwise, it's racist.
Okay.
We've learned that. Michio Kaku, the fucking scientific samurai himself, he's out there.
Has a badass hair, man, for an old guy.
He is fucking out there.
You think?
Yeah, he's a little odd. Brian Greene's, I think, becoming one of my favorite astrophysicists, actually.
I think I've seen him on a podcast, but I can't think of it.
I saw him on Rogan the first time I heard of him.
Is that the guy from England?
He's English. Or no, he's American. He speaks English. They don't speak English, and the Queen's English is not English. That's pagan trash. Real English started in the US of A.
Anyway.
I know who you're talking about. I don't fucking know his name. Graham Hancock. I don't know.
No.
Graham Foot Penis.
Sweet. Okay, continue. I'm sorry. Continue with this.
Sidetrack. So several witnesses, what the fuck is that? Fuck you, Best Buy. Several witnesses reported seeing a second shooter positioned behind Kennedy. For example, Carl Euchre, great game, a hotel maitre d'. I hate the way I hate that word.
What, maitre d'?
Yeah, you never say it, but then when you see how it's spelled, it just pisses me the fuck off. Oh, maitre d'.
Them fucking French.
Fucking frogs.
Pretty sure it's a French word. I don't know.
I heard they're dicks to tourists too.
How dare them?
Yeah, like what the fuck are you offering the world other than a taller version of something you can see right here in Ohio, the Eiffel Tower. Congratulations, you have a big fucking metal thing. Join the club. And you have shit food.
But they're big. Theirs is bigger.
You have some food, good food.
And all women will tell you.
Nails. That should tell you something.
All women will tell you size matters.
You got a fucking big metal pointy thing. You got an archway in the middle of nowhere for no fucking reason. What else does France bring? Your military sucks.
The Louvre.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Great
I would
museum.
like to see that. It's underground for some reason.
I saw it.
We will put it underground and we will put a glass pyramid over it.
Why?
Because art.
I do think they have the worst accent of all time.
Huh? That's only. I know very little French, but I can laugh in French.
I mean, of all the list of accents on the globe.
Yeah, like for the home of romance and love. No thanks.
Yeah, it's that and German have to be the most harshest.
See, but no, German is a great accent if it's a little effeminate.
Okay,
if you're like, I want to see your supervisor, then that's a little Austrian. But but like then it's a problem. But if you soften it up a little bit and kind of gay it up a little bit, traditionally, if you make it sound gay, there's a documentary about that. It is astounding. I've never watched it, but when I thought about the theory of it, it kind of blew my mind. That like the thought of something sounds gay and you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it.
I have no idea.
But if you make German sound gay, colloquially, it's lovely.
I mean,
it's fun.
I have two favorite accents.
Southern and Cockney.
There is nothing better than the feminine Southern drawl.
How hey, Shug?
Oh, it's there. It can make a 2 look like a 10. Oh, sound like you talk to a 2 on the phone, you're gonna think she's a 10. And the feminine Australian accent.
Just the Australian accent in general.
In general, yeah.
But yeah, no, if you
Even a dude in an Australian accent, I say, you know what, I might hit it.
if you sweeten up the German accent, it's fun. It sounds like you should be running a kid show. Hello.
Well, like everything.
My name is Franz, and I will be your tour guide today. We're going to see Auschwitz. It's going to be sad. You're going to hate it, but we're here. We're also going to stop for a schnitzel, so it's okay.
I have to say, as everything else, old Adolf fucked it up for everybody.
Can you imagine that tour, though?
What?
We're going to be touring the internment camps today. I know it's a bit heavy, but let's try to have fun. Now let's go look at the pile of dead baby shoes.
We are so going to hell.
You can go and you can get a commemorative snow globe over there, and after you're done shopping and getting your bottles of water, we're going to see the ovens.
Continue before we completely...
Ma'am, please throw away your pizza. We do not allow any baked goods around the ovens. You know why. Moving on, everyone follow me, please. That's not the first time a German said that in these lands.
Oh, fuck me. God. For the love of God, Travis.
So, again, sorry, Carl Euchre, an eyewitness, one of the eyewitnesses that they quoted in this, who was the maitre d', which sent us down that rabbit hole.
Yes, it's...
Insisted that Sirhan never got close enough to deliver a point-blank shot, suggesting the presence of, quote, extra shooter. That's the best part of this whole thing. Extra shooter is the greatest thing I've ever said.
You always need extra.
SEAL Team 6. Point man. You're clearing all the rooms. You got the battering ram. Who's our extra shooter? There's just some nerdy guy. He's like, that'd be me, Sergeant. I am your extra shooter for the day. When we get back, I'm going to have to expedite myself from the group. I have to finish Lieutenant Dan's chemistry homework. He's working on a degree for when he goes home. The chaos of the moment. This one, solid thought process that a bunch of these eyewitnesses noted details that did not align with a lone gunman scenario, leading some to assert that the official investigation might have overlooked or suppressed conflicting evidence because of just the craziness of the situation. Like, one of the more valid points to conflict, or I don't want to say conflict, to bring up when combating the norm and the traditional thing that you were told in this scenario, because a presidential candidate just got fucking shot, and it's the 60s, so I'm assuming women are fainting.
Maybe. Well, they were fainting because of beehive hairdos.
Oh my god,
gravity.
Well, and then like in those times, like people still hadn't gotten rid of like the white people accent, so I'm sure they just snapped back to the 40s. They're like, oh my word, somebody's assailed the president. Quick, Johnny, run down to the Gazette. Tell them the news.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Let's talk about some second shooter theories.
Oh.
Thane Eugene Caesar. This is the security guard theory.
Oh.
Also a really cool name.
Thane.
Thane?
I wish my mother would have named me Thane.
Thane Eugene Caesar?
Great Thane. I would.
It's like it's like a Batman character if you had the world's worst lisp. That boy's so gay he can put a lisp on B. Thane.
If Bane had a lisp,
it would fit the way Tom Hardy talked in that one Batman.
That's true.
Hi, I'm Thane. Nobody knew who I was until I put on the mask. I forget. He imitated somebody for that. I forget what it was. It was very interesting. So the role and proximity of Thane Eugene Caesar, who was an off-duty security guard assigned to protect Kennedy, and he was reportedly positioned directly behind him at the moment of the shooting. According to several eyewitness accounts, they noted, that Caesar drew his weapon during the chaos, yet there was no formal inquiry into whether he discharged this firearm.
They didn't check fucking...
You would think you'd look into that. You would think every gun in the building would have been fucking taken into evidence and looked into.
That who of law enforcement or whoever was there...
You would hope that those are the only ones.
They would do a fucking bullet check.
I don't know how fucking pussy liberal was California in the 60s.
Well, I'm pretty sure, like, in today's world, I think if you discharge your weapon, there's an investigation no matter what.
I don't know. This never would have happened if Trump was president in 68.
Yeah, it would have.
If 9-year-old Donald J. Trump was president back then, this wouldn't have happened.
Maybe.
Whoever the 1968 version of fucking Gavin Newsom was really dropping the ball here. And as we already know, in this time period especially, their policing sucked dick.
Well, yes, yes. We covered this. What year was it? 16? 8. So they still suck. They sucked.
California police couldn't catch a fucking cold in Alaska back in the day.
Naked, wet.
I did that once in high school. It worked.
Went to Alaska naked and wet?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't ask what it worked for.
What for?
I don't know, but I made a lot of money.
Oh.
No, but I really did, like, soak a shirt in water and stand outside and, like, smoke, like, 3 cigarettes in the middle of winter. And I did get sick.
You did?
Yeah. It was unfortunate. I got, like, actually sick. I was like, this sucks. This is way I should have just gone to school.
Can I ask a question? What would possess you to do such a thing?
I was a fucking truant. Any reason to not go to school I would take.
That's like these fuckers who do those polar plunges. Suck me off.
I would do it.
Nope.
I would do it if I went to, like, a really cool place that it was known for. Like, if I was in, like, fucking Norway and they were like, this is where we do the polar plunge.
Nope.
Try not to get bit by the crabs.
I just don't see it. It's like ice baths. I don't see it.
If you see the Kraken, say hello. He's our friend.
I don't like putting my body in ice.
It's fair. Doesn't...
You think shrinkage happens in pools. I go to an ice bath, I immediately become Phyllis.
Your balls just get stuck to the bottom.
I have ovaries at that point.
Yeah.
They go so far up in me.
Moving on. Mr. Caesar, he has possibly some motivations to this. Mr. Caesar was known to harbor extreme right-wing views, racist, and deep-seated disdain for the Kennedys. This theory posits that his ideological motives might have contributed to a more complex plot involving multiple gunmen. Now let's talk about CIA and MK Ultra mind control.
Okay.
Sirhan's behavior being one of the indicating factors of this theory. Observers noted Sirhan's dazed, almost robotic demeanor during the shooting, a state that some attribute to possible hypnotic programming or mind control.
Which we all know from our dives into MK Ultra via our one episode, I forget what it was called.
Something.
MK Ultra, maybe. And the Charlie Manson episode.
One of those ones with a title, you know?
The whole point of... basically the whole point of MK Ultra was to create a Manchurian candidate.
Yeah.
Sirhan. First, fuck you for having the same name twice.
It sounds like a delicious dish at a...
Because my name is not Phil.
Could be.
Pizza. No, but this...
Caesar's doesn't sound bad.
This is the prototype for the definition of what a Manchurian candidate is.
Yeah.
So...
No Little Caesars. It does sound good, but I've been a piece of shit on eating food and going to the gym. Absolute trash person.
I've been hitting it hard, and Daddy did legs yet last night.
I don't want to hear it.
And
You're catching up. I was great for a long time. I think I was actually talking about that. Like, I think it's just like, I think I'm in that I'm in the cycle.
I'm just saying, I did legs. I did legs last night.
Yeah, you're in the honeymoon phase, like I was in there for a while.
No, it was just so.
And now I'm
crowded.
just like, I just don't want to, and I feel like part of me I kind of feel like I did really great for a long time, and now I'm like feeling like a pussy because like I feel like a weak bitch. But I feel like if I just force myself to go too much, then I'll ruin it in the long run.
Well, I'm just saying I did legs, and my legs hurt. I can barely walk.
I don't do legs.
Well, see,
I call that work.
I have to go at a bad time, the crowded time, and I just don't want to stand around looking for a fucking machine to work, and nobody's hardly working legs. So
Is it busy upstairs?
I've never even.
You can pretty much anything you can do downstairs, you can do upstairs.
Oh, there's
just different. I mean, it might not be the same machines, but you can do it. Like there's more free weights up there.
Really?
Yeah, there's more dumbbells and shit up there.
I've never even walked upstairs.
Yeah. Huh. Like rowing machines and shit. Like
maybe I have
fucking abductors.
Maybe I have
if you want to hit the abductors.
Okay.
I feel like a bad bitch.
I'm a bad bitch.
Abductors make you feel like a bad bitch. Spreading your meat waffle, your fucking Arby's 4 for $4. You get in there, and you're like, you start listening to Lizzo while you're spreading your legs.
Nice.
Also, quick side note: heard a hot take on self-defense, and jujitsu. It was Matt McCusker said it. I was listening to Matt and Shane's Secret podcast from like 4 years ago, and they were talking about jujitsu and shit like that. He made a very good point that's a little raw, but it is a good point about jujitsu being a perfect tool for female self-defense in the right situation of being sexually assaulted.
I don't. That makes a lot of sense.
He did. He was like. He even said he was like, "This is going to sound nasty and raw, but it's real." He was like, "To jujitsu is a martial art that teaches you to defend yourself and change your position in your situation from being on your back with your legs up in the air, wrapped around another human being." He was like, it sounds gross and bad, but like it's kind of perfect. And I was like, that's a fucking good point I've never thought of.
I mean, that's basically what...
Like a position that you could be sexually assaulted in is specifically taught as a fucking potentially offensive position from jiu-jitsu. Never thought of it that way.
Jiu-jitsu looks like two people fucking.
Jiu-jitsu's hot.
Do you get a little aroused?
You get to roll around and touch bodies and be close to each other, and you get choked. I mean, fuck me up, daddy.
I mean, do you pleasure yourself while watching a tournament? Is that your porn?
I'm trying to get Nate Diaz nuts on the back of my neck.
All right, continue.
Get fucking... I don't know. Get the Stockton sack as opposed to the Stockton slap. Is that what he called it? Where him and his brother just bitch slap people in the middle of the fight for no reason?
I don't know.
He's like, what, motherfucker? Second toughest guy. Well, maybe the toughest guy now with a lisp. He might have overtaken Tyson because he does stuff, he does groundy things.
True.
Did you imagine those two in an argument? There'd just be spit everywhere. Anyway. So Sirhan's personal history, including participation in hypnosis experiments and the presence of what some describe as, quote, automatic writing in his notebooks, has led to speculation that he might have been a victim of the CIA MK Ultra mind control experiments. And proponents of this theory suggest that he was manipulated into becoming a Manchurian candidate with limited autonomy. Look who jumped ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, that's the whole point of MK Ultra, was to create and them to have no recollection of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you might say this later on, but does he not? If I'm not mistaken, he does not remember, or says he doesn't remember.
We're gonna get into some weird shit. Not that weird, but some weird shit. So, if true, such manipulation would imply that Sirhan's actions were not entirely his own, further complicating the narrative of a single independent shooter. You right there, Killer?
Yeah, I'm trying not to sneeze.
Just do it.
No, okay, I'm good.
Do it right into the microphone.
Okay.
peak that shit. Make it do that weird crackly noise in people's ears. Scare the shit out of them while they're driving home.
For one, what, all 3 people?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, we have more than 3 downloads usually, I think.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't look at those numbers. I don't even think. Do you even look at those numbers anymore?
It's not. We're down after our long hiatus.
Oh, I bet. We got some work to do. I gotta be edgy. I gotta start saying fucking homophobic, racist shit on the regular, so people think we're good again. That's how it works.
Well, you're on track.
Well, I mean, there's no fucking Weinsteins around for me to jack off to try to get ahead in the game. Fuck. Go for it. Present me with a shriveled Jew dick,
Whoa.
and I shall stroketh upon it until we're famous.
I don't want to be famous that bad.
We fucking Macaulay Gluckin.
Well, I'll let
think about that one.
That is your job then.
Hey, I'll give a hand job for a couple mil. I'll do a lot. It's the dog across the street.
Okay.
I'll do more than that. We've had this conversation back in high school, and it's like, would you fuck a guy for $10 million? I'll let a guy fuck me for $10 million. Are you kidding me? I'll do it for $2.
$2 or $2 million?
$2 million for sure. You kidding me?
Not $2 million after taxes, so yeah.
Are you paying? That's the other one. People are like, oh, duh, duh, duh. I'm like, especially if you factor in if you're paying the taxes, I'm getting the straight $2 million. I don't know. At that point, it's not straight $2 million, but like, it's a pretty twisty $2 million one way or the other. But yeah, are you kidding me? Straight up, cash in hand, no taxes.
You're down.
Like, you have some way to go around the government so they don't flag it as suspicious. I'll rock an indecent proposal.
I think that should be a tax exempt on the form.
Deputy director, they didn't pay taxes on this money. They got fucked in the ass. It's fine.
It's fine. That's a
Push
write-off.
it through. Oh, yeah. You should have said that. Why didn't you hit it with the fucked in the ass stamp? We had that specifically made for a reason.
Oh, we are so far.
That Etsy purchase was not cheap. Do you know how much it costs to have somebody custom make 300 fucked in the ass stamps?
I don't even know why anybody watches this shit.
Fucked in the ass, tax exempt.
Well, can we create a shirt that says fucked in the ass?
Well, realistically, that wouldn't work because they would have to put that on every taxpayer. Fucked in the ass, fucked in the ass, fucked in the ass. Like, no, that's not the tax exempt fucked in the ass. That's just the regular, they're paying taxes to us like idiots fucked in the ass.
Oh, God.
So the political motive or the CIA and anti-Kennedy elements, because this, not back then, but it's kind of confirmed now. The CIA wasn't.
They weren't.
I'm not going to implicate the CIA in killing the Kennedys. They did. But
They weren't BFFs, we'll say that.
no, they did not get along.
They were the Hatfields and the McCoys.
They were a little more friendly than the mob and the Kennedys.
Yeah, the mob.
At this time, the mob and the Kennedys were real cool, like, before John.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, their uncle, they were fucking...
Prior to 62.
They knew what each other's fucking buttholes looked like. They went to saunas together. Yeah.
Russian?
They like put more steam on, throw some water on the fucking coals and then throw some nutsack on my forehead, Big Daddy. Let me see that cannoli. So the threat to powerful interests, which again, we're gonna talk about it right now, but I don't think it's any secret that the Kennedys, at least the two dead ones, the two important dead ones, fuck the other dead ones.
Like the other devil.
I think it's a pretty well known fact that like powerful interests around the world were threatened by both John and Bobby Kennedy, especially military ones. So RFK was on course to challenge entrenched power structures, his proposed reinvestigation of JFK's assassination, his vocal criticism of U.S. foreign policy, and his aggressive anti-mafia stance posed a threat to the CIA, who was concerned with shielding its covert operations and potential misdeeds. I couldn't read that for a second.
Potential misdeeds.
Potential threw me off for a second. I was like, the potato fall. The military-industrial complex, likely to oppose any political leader inclined to, I should have made the font on this bigger before we started, inclined to reduce military engagement, particularly in Vietnam. It's full circle. I was watching MASH last night. That was Korea.
That was Korean War.
I used to say when I was like in junior high and high school, that was always the sign to go to bed.
What, when MASH came on?
The MASH. Yeah, when you heard that, it was like 2 a.m. because they were like, we're out of program. You got an hour of MASH, and then you're watching the fucking slap chop infomercial for 2 hours straight until the news comes on. Go to sleep, you fat, stupid little Asian high school kid. You stayed up late enough to watch the late night South Park on Fox. Now fucking go to sleep, stupid. That 70s show's over. Organized, my belly said something. Organized crime, which had vested interests in maintaining the status quo of a lot of things. A lot of shit.
In other words, staying in business.
Yes. And a potential orchestrated plot.
By whom?
The Anunnaki. That brings me to my next factual point. Aliens killing the Kennedys.
Well, as we learned last week,
that's why
we surrendered.
That's why RFK Jr. talks funny.
If Truman surrendered to the Nazis,
yeah,
maybe the Kennedys were going to blow the cover and say, hey, we lost the war, and that's why they killed him.
That's why RFK Jr. talks funny. It's like he's the alien Harry Potter. He's the boy who lived. Instead of the stupid lightning bolt scar on his fucking forehead, he got the.
Very true.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Did you imagine him and Michael J. Fox having a conversation?
Oh, this is going to get bad, isn't it?
I mean, I'm just
you insensitive
think about it,
bastard. I think it's cool how he talks.
I think it sounds like he's sitting on the dryer.
Hey, who hasn't?
It sounds like he's. Sounds like when you're a kid and you fucking stand behind the fan and talk through it. You know what I mean? You're like, take me to your leader. That shit. That's exactly what it is.
I think it's a great idea.
He did that too much as a kid. It was like when you like fucking cross your eyes and made stupid faces. Your mom's like, you keep doing that, your face gonna get stuck like that.
Hey, we should do a whole episode. You know, people who've had
like that.
No, have the
like the Hell's Angels guy.
Yeah, we should do a whole episode. It's not gonna get any worse than what we got.
Don't push it.
See, you just mentioned it.
There could be. There might be actual feelings behind the racist comments if you keep talking like that.
True.
Honky.
Hey.
Cracker. You crack ass motherfucker. You jive turkey. He said, no. He said, don't say that. He called me. Nobody called anyone a JT. I'm pretty sure he called me a jive turkey. He said, no, he called you a cocksucker. Yeah, you cocksucker. Slept on Will Ferrell movie right there. Semi-Pro. You ever seen Semi-Pro?
Yes.
Slept on, dude. Don't tell me that movie's not funny.
It's one of his funnier ones.
Oh my god. When he fucking yelled at everybody that we were arguing on the bus, he was like, you see this ring? ELE means everybody love everybody. Now cut the shit. And they're like literally about to fucking fight each other. And he was like, cut the shit. 12 more hours, and just sits down again. It's the funniest not funny line ever. You guys are about to kill each other. 12 more hours on this bus. Come on, let's go. Anyway, let's talk about the media.
Oh.
Because the media never has any fucking role or place in any of this type of shit.
They do nothing wrong. They just tell us the news.
Now, the Los Angeles Police Department may or may not have mishandled a little bit of evidence in this, i.e., let's start with evidence destruction.
If it doesn't fit, you must have quit kind of thing going on. Let's have a man put a glove over a rubber glove. Let's see how that works. What?
You think that's why? You think that's why Princess Peach is taller than Mario?
What the?
If it doesn't fit, you must not quit.
Yes.
Get it?
I get it. Just continue.
Boom. Critical pieces of evidence, such as ceiling panels and floor door frames marked by extra bullet holes, were removed and destroyed from the scene of the shooting. Which obviously raises eyebrows, making you think this is a fucking cover-up. Because not only is that some cover-up shit, that's some very lazy cover-up shit.
Blatant.
Not like, I don't know. They would have been better off like, where's the door frames and the ceiling panels? They would have been better off going, oh. They could have timmed it. If they would have Tim the Toolman tailored it, they would have been better off.
Would it just been easier to burn the fucking place down the next?
Literally, and they probably would have got away with it too, if it wasn't for the stupid dog. I mean, those meddling kids.
Yes.
Well, Raggy, they burned their door frames. Sirhan. It was Sirhan all along. The janitor, Mr. Sirhan. He's foreign. Kill him. Fuck that guy. Anyway, there were some conflicting testimonies.
Oh.
Yeah. Eyewitness accounts that challenged the official narrative were often ignored or later altered under pressure, suggesting that the investigation may have been rushed and manipulated to support a single neat explanation.
We've never talked about that kind of shit before.
This is just it's just so lazy. The cover up of this, because I do think that there is this cover up. I'm not saying that necessarily that Sirhan didn't shoot him. He very well may have, but there's something else afoot here.
There's always more to the story.
They were handling this like silly gooses.
Well, they had no idea the internet would become a thing.
I don't know. It must have smelled like a fucking fish hatchery, because there must have been a pond or something real nearby, because everybody in this story, silly goose.
Silly goose.
Well, now we get into the media. Reinforcement of the lone gunman narrative. That is the name of this two-sentence paragraph. Major news outlets largely accepted and propagated. That's a hard one. You don't say that very often.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have tried it.
They propagated the official account, giving little airtime to alternative theories or forensic discrepancies. This contributed to a public perception that questions or challenges to the official story were unfounded or conspiratorial. Sounds like the government.
Sounds like media.
That's what the government and the media does. Now, one of the most, we're moving on from the media. Their crimes have been spoken for. One of the most enduring and intriguing elements of the conspiracy is the mysterious woman in the polka dot dress seen in the hotel before and after the shooting. Have you heard of this?
I vaguely, but I don't remember what it is.
Now we're going to talk about Sandra Serrano.
Ooh, sexy name. I will say that.
Also, don't think that her name takes away any of the credibility of a possible mob involvement.
Oh, you're saying Serrano's, she could be a mob adjacent?
She's got enough vowels.
Hold on a minute. I thought the mob was I'm not a genius, but I thought the mob was pretty much male dominated.
Well, yeah, but you can be associated.
I thought the mob was a little sexist.
You can be associated. You think they didn't have some ladies
hitmen?
No, I don't think so. But I don't imagine they had. I find it far fetched to think that the mob never had any female, not members, but like acquaintances that they used to like set people up and shit.
More like employees, not made members, I would think.
Sluts.
Hang-arounds. What do they call the
prospects?
Female version?
Old ladies. No,
there's another word other than old ladies. They call the females of a MC.
old ladies.
I thought there was another word they use sometimes. Anyway, if I was,
Bitches. No, that was easy.
if I was a high-ranking godfather of a crime syndicate, I think I would use women as honey traps.
Guidettes.
That's killing me. I think it's maybe Sandra was one of these. I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen that in a mob documentary. Just saying. I thought the mob was a little sexist.
Oh yeah.
But how great would a...
Well, they're just ideological in general. Like it was like your mother. It was like both your parents had to be Sicilian, or one side specifically. Like your mother's had to be Sicilian, or I can't remember which one. I know they
revere the female family, like the wives of the former, high-ranking officials, whatever.
Yeah, because their fat asses wouldn't learn how to make red sauce.
Well, I know I'm pretty sure they took care of the female version.
Yeah, like if your husband was whacked, the family took care of you.
Yeah,
I'm getting back into the mob again because of all this. I want to dive into the Genovese family. Apparently, the Genovese family is like the ideal crime family.
How so?
I think they allegedly made like the most money overall,
more in the game,
or like consistently. But like apparently, like they held on to the old ways and the secrecy and like the little micro bylaws better than the rest of them.
No, but I'm sure the drugs got into them too. Well, it didn't. What's his name?
Well, apparently, like even people in the mob, like up to semi-recent times, don't know who's really in charge of the Genovese family. That's how tight-lipped they keep and how like close they keep all of their information within the family. Which is probably fucking smart. Because if you think about it, like how many guys do you know went down from the Genovese family specifically?
Well, wasn't what's his name from? Oh fuck!
Who?
The murder.
Sammy the Bull.
No, the paranormal. Well, fuck. We did it. We've done 2 episodes on. I did an episode. The guy who killed the family.
The Iceman?
No, the house that was haunted. And they said the house made him do it. Oh fuck! From
Amityville.
Amityville Horror, yes.
Yeah.
God, I can't believe I lost it.
Fuck, what was his name?
I can't remember. But his uncle, his dad, I think it was the Genovese family.
But did he get arrested? His dad?
No, but I think his uncle. Because remember, they called the Genovese his uncle before somebody. I forget. It's so long since we did that episode.
I don't know. It's just like because I
think his uncle, who was a member, I believe, of the Genovese family.
Yeah, like I don't know if any of the guys that I've heard talk or anything like that. I don't recall any of them being Genovese. That like really went down for any of the mob shit, and a lot of that's probably because they shut the fuck up about it. Like fuck you,
Sammy the Bull
lawyer. I want my fucking lawyer. Fuck you, you moulignon. I don't even know what that means. I just heard him say it a bunch. It's probably something racist.
Probably.
I don't know. I just heard him say, hey, Tony Soprano said it. God rest his fat soul.
Didn't his son playing a young...
Oh, John Gotti Jr.'s out there talking now.
What about?
All kinds of shit.
Didn't he go to jail too?
He's talking shit about Sammy the Bull Gravano. He's lighting people up, saying something about like Sammy the Bull's full of shit and like never should have lived as long as he has.
I still want to know how he's alive.
Sammy the Bull?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He's not in hiding anymore. He's not.
Nah, none of them are.
They're not in Witsack anymore.
Nah. He never did, I don't think.
Oh, I thought he did.
Oh, yeah, no, he did drop out. Michael Franzese never took it, though.
Yeah.
He never took WITSEC.
But he didn't really turn, did he?
Oh, and now there's, what was it, John Gotti Jr. is the one that made that WITSEC Mafia or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Talking shit about all those dudes. Like, what the fuck? Like,
But I'm surprised somebody hasn't come.
taking it even.
Because it wasn't Sammy.
See, I was just talking about this.
First one to really.
Yeah, he started
that,
it.
What is it? Whatever it's called. That
Rico.
no, that code of silence. Whatever the
Omerta.
Omerta. Yeah, that's it. He wasn't he one of the first to actually.
Yeah, I think he was the one that really started the whole thing.
He's got that domino.
Because I think he started it. Michael Francis dies on the hill of nobody else went to jail off anything he said.
Yeah.
Because like he tries to hold on to like kind of his family name, because apparently Michael Francis's dad was like, the way he said it was like Gotti before Gotti, in a time before Gotti.
What?
He was like the John Gotti of before that, and apparently he swears like, and I have nothing to go against it, but apparently Michael Francis's dad, Sonny, was like a mobster. Like, he'd go to jail for 1,000 years before he ratted on somebody. Like, he was just cut like that. But there was guys like that, and even from the Philly mob. I heard Sammy the Bull telling a story about killing a dude from the Philly mob. Johnny Keys, I think was his name. And he said he told his boss when he got back from it that he felt dirty. Because he had to spend a bunch of time with the guy, because like it went south, and like his car, I think, and his gun were still at the scene where they snatched him, because it kind of turned into a thing, because they didn't know he was getting snatched, but it was his place in his town, so he had guys with him at all times. He was well protected, and he told his boss, he was like, I fell in love with him that night.
You know, we ought to do an episode under our true crime.
Just the respect.
The mob.
Between some of them was because that's what he told his boss. He was like, I feel dirty about doing this. And like he talked about it, like he loosened his zip ties, he fucking told him how he was gonna kill him. It was a very intriguing story. The guy had two requests. One, he said, have a friend of ours do it, which in their world just means another made guy,
Right.
and to take his shoes off. And it's because there was when they were at war in like the 70s or 80s, like when the books were closed, all that shit. And he told Sammy, he was like, why the fuck do you want me to take your shoes off? And he was like, my wife's not a stupid woman. She reads the newspaper and she knows there's a war, and she's seen my name and she knows that shit happens in this life. But I told her not to worry about it. I'm not going to die in the streets with my shoes on. I'm going to die comfy at home with my shoes off. So that was his way of sending a sign to his wife that he was thinking about her before he died.
Oh,
I know, yeah, right?
You know, I always, as ruthless as the mob was, especially the early days,
They at least allegedly had a
code.
Yeah.
They had a code. But like everything else, you know, they didn't kill innocents. It was mob on mob crime.
Yeah.
You know, they did protect.
Oh, yeah.
Then now they were.
And even then, it wasn't always as rampant as people think. I heard him, Sammy the Bull tell another story about like he was gonna kill this dude one way or another.
Yeah.
Like they did some shit to one of his old associates who was killed or died's wife. Like slapped her around and robbed her or some shit. And then another family was like, he's with us. He's not made, but he's one of our guys. We already have him. He's hidden. He owes me $90,000. Let me get my $90,000. He said, fuck your $90,000. It's like, I'll give you $90,000 if it's that big of a deal, but either you are going to deliver this person to me and I'm going to fucking kill him, or we're going to war and I'm going to fucking kill him. And I'll kill any one of you that stands between me and making this right. And I was like, God damn. That's a big trigger to pull. And then pun intended. Anyway, this chick's name just sent us on a massive fucking rant. So the Kennedy campaign volunteer, Sandra Serrano, recalled that while sitting on the hotel's fire escape, she witnessed three individuals: a young man resembling Sirhan, a woman in a distinctive polka dot dress, and another male companion ascending the hotel stairs. After the shooting, Serrano observed the woman running away and exclaiming, "We shot him! We shot him!" Although she initially stood by her account, she later retracted her statement under pressure from the LAPD detective Hank Hernandez.
Hank fucked it up.
Yeah. Campaign worker Nina Rhodes Hughes and several other observers reported similar sightings, noting that the woman appeared to interact with Sirhan or behave in a suspicious manner. Some believe that this woman was not a random bystander, but an active participant, possibly a CIA intelligence agent, possibly involved in the MK Ultra mind control experiments, and her proximity to Sirhan before the shooting may indicate that she was guiding or conditioning him,
or she triggered it.
Yeah.
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah. Another theory suggests that her conspicuous behavior, running and shouting post-shooting, was designed to divert attention from another assailant operating behind Kennedy. While skeptics argue that she might be that she might be a case of mistaken identity or a false memory, the volume and consistency of witness reports make it unlikely that she was merely an error in perception, because there's multiple corroborating witness statements. Witness titness. Need a tetanus shot. But there's multiple corroborating witness statements alleging seeing this woman in the polka dot dress, which I don't know how common polka dots were back in the day.
I think they were pretty common, actually.
You think they were bitchy about it? They're like, she was wearing a polka dot dress. It was very tacky, actually. And the other guy, she looked like a whore.
You could see her ankles.
Slut. She wasn't wearing any knickers. That was a close one.
Whoa, you got real close on that one.
We're fucking riding the edge. We're edging.
Because you'll be out on that fucking limb all by yourself.
That's pretty risky after that joke, too.
What? Oh, yeah, okay. I'm just saying, I ain't going down with the boat.
Pink Pony Club. It's a jam, man. I know you've heard it.
No.
She's like the queen of the gays now.
Good for her.
Chapel Roan. She does. She makes like gay power ballads, basically. Like they're like pro-gay, all that stuff, which is fine. And like I said, Pink Pony Club's a fucking jam.
Hey.
I'm not the biggest fan of Hot to Go.
If it's got rhythm, it's got a good bass line.
Oh, dude, no. Like if you you would probably actually fuck with it. It's got a really like jazzy, not like literal jazz, but like a jazzy, upbeat kind of 80s thing going on.
Kind of Paula Abdul-esque pop music.
I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Anyway, now despite multiple credible reports, the LAPD quickly dismissed her existence, often labeling the accounts as unreliable. Now, the fact that the witnesses like Serrano were intimidated into alleging their testimonies altering their testimonies adds to the suspicion that her involvement and possibly a large conspiracy was deliberately obscured. No shit. Questions still remain. One, who the fuck was she? Nobody knows. Nobody can identify this person, even though multiple people saw her. No photographs, from what I'm understanding. Nothing crazy. Was she part of an organized effort to control the influence and outcome of the shooting? Very possibly. Or was she simply an unwilling participant caught up in a chaotic moment? Or was she also a mind control subject? That's not in my notes. That's just in my brain.
It's very possible.
Okay.
I put nothing past the CIA.
All right, let's talk about some quick theories. Kind of blast through these because, they're...
Blast.
Just like a Kennedy's noggin. Blast right through that bitch. Just like hot knife through butter, baby. That bullet gonna kill that Kennedy. I guarantee it. I'm talking about in the past. I'm making a joke. I'm not talking about RFK Jr. I actually fucking like RFK Jr., if we're being honest. Now, some researchers maintain that Sirhan was set up as a convenient patsy, a fall guy engineered to take the blame. This theory suggests that the evidence was either planted or tampered with to frame him as a sole proprietor, diverting attention from a broader conspiracy. Let's talk about organized crime. This could have been a mob retaliation or involved collusion with the mob, because RFK's relentless campaign against organized crime during his tenure as Attorney General, that was a thing. He fucking went after them motherfuckers. He may have had something to do with it. He may have been a big key in his brother's assassination, I think.
I don't disagree with that.
Not that John also wasn't kind of going after the mob, but I personally, looking at it, I think that it was very much him backing his brother to bring his brother, because if you're John F. Kennedy, why would you not want your brother to be a president as well?
Right.
Like, keep my shit rolling, even though, boom, you know, I got fucking smoked, brother. So, where was I? You say that got him some really powerful enemies, and some theorists propose that mobsters, possibly in collusion with corrupt officials, orchestrated the assassination. Pretty high on my list of probable, must admit. Let's talk about some deep state dynamics.
Ooh, does that have anything to do with Scientology? Oh, that's Dianetics.
No, that's deep sea Dianetics, as in shooting sea anomalies and having stupid belief systems that don't make sense.
Going to war with a log.
And plugging people up to what I would assume is basically either like a stripped down lie detector or like some one of those weird muscle twitch things that they use for therapy.
I think it reminds me of the telephone game.
It reminds me of that, you know, that game where it's like you fucking, everybody puts their hand on it and just like randomly shocks people. That's what it is.
Okay.
Now, beyond the MK Ultra, I got real Asian. Beyond the MK Ultra hypothesis, additional theories suggest that a coalition of government agencies, including rogue elements within the CIA and FBI, might have engineered the killing. RFK's plans to reinvestigate JFK's assassination and his critical stance on the U.S. foreign policy could have threatened powerful covert operations, prompting a deliberate cover-up.
I think this is very likely.
I think we're kind of... I think it's a emulsion of multiple different parts of what we were talking about.
I mean, I think they knew, the powers that be were well aware that Robert getting elected, which
would have thrown wrenches in gears.
He was coming after because I believe he had a very good idea, if not knowledge, of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew he was coming after them.
Well, because
so they were forced.
Was their uncle? Was it Jack?
No,
was he dead by this time?
You mean the dad? Jack was the dad, I thought.
Well, wasn't their uncle like directly involved in the Teamsters?
Maybe, or his dad was. I don't know.
It might have been both of them.
I'm not that in depth.
Because if that was true, if their uncle was that in depth or ingrained, then he might have fucking known something too. So he might have had some insight on how to get rid of the shit because he's a money hungry fuck.
But I do believe whoever was behind JFK's assassination, probably said we need to take care of this problem, get ahead of this problem before it becomes a problem.
Yeah,
because they knew RFK was coming after him.
Yeah. Another version of all this, maybe some internal security force, fearing the disruption of an established order, took care of this whole thing.
Yeah,
took care of the problem. Let's see, second gunman theories, just like his fucking brother. This is kind of highlighted by eyewitness accounts and forensic anomalies. Basically, say like again. 8 shots were fired. A lot of modern forensic analysis support that, but it becomes increasingly implausible that Sirhan's single revolver could account for all the rounds. Even though it held 8 shots, like...
Did he... you might have said this earlier, and I might have just forgot it or missed it, Were there any bullets left in his gun?
They said originally Sirhan only fired 4 shots.
So
3 hit Kennedy, 1 went through his jacket.
Oh, kind of like the what's that? There's some TV show where they get shot. Anyway, so are there documents from police or whoever did the investigation, that there were still 4 in the cylinder?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I never saw that, but they literally just destroyed evidence.
That's
anyway.
True.
Let's see, mind control and induced behavior. That's just kind of a regurgitation of the whole MK Ultra with or without drugs situation, which the Manchurian Candidate, blah, 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 also very plausible. I do think this is just a fucking a mashup of kind of all of this shit, personally.
Right.
Now the forensic evidence, I think I repeated myself here.
Probably.
I think I might have copy pasted myself.
I hate when
Oops.
I hate it when you paste yourself.
Yeah. The forensic things. Modern forensic techniques and acoustic analysis have raised doubts about the official account, suggesting that the evidence point to more than one shooter, just because of
The video.
like multiple things. They're like, oh, we're not fucking idiots now. There's a lot of just random little facts that they're like, no, doesn't add up. No, hard no, maybe, no, coffee stain, no. Again, there's a shitload of fucking eyewitness testimonies pointing to Sirhan wasn't alone. Sirhan might have done it. There might have been a pitch and address. We don't fucking know. None of this shit is documented properly. Or it's just not findable. It doesn't exist anymore. There's arguments that we've already talked about this a little bit. The official investigation itself was fucking poorly handled. That's
all we're about.
Throw that out the fucking window. I don't find the official investigation, the little bit that I did look into before I was like absolute trash. Get that the fuck out of here. And then you have like the political context, the turbulent political nature and climate of the 60s. There's a lot of fucking beef going on,
and the animosity between the Kennedys, those two.
Yeah,
well, him now,
and we were at
the
war.
deep state.
They were fighting against the war. We're making a shitload of money off war,
and they're
fighting. Realistically, they're fighting the unions if they're going against the mob, because that was corrupt as fuck.
Most people don't realize, but JFK didn't want us. He was wanting to pull out of. When JFK was assassinated, we weren't full blown in the Vietnam conflict. We were. I forget what the terminology was. We were there, but not to the extent. It wasn't until after Kennedy was shot that Johnson ramped up deployments.
We weren't fully immersed.
Right. So it was more of a police action, I believe. But so JFK didn't want it. He wanted to pull out.
Said no Catholic ever.
So, it is a good bet, and I'm not an expert, but I would assume Robert Kennedy shared that and wanted to follow up on that. So the military industrial complex, we can't be having that.
Yeah. Well, and then the rest of my notes is basically just like a wrap up of it's an ongoing mystery that makes you kind of distrust what the government, if not the government's actions, what the government says and how they investigate shit, how state and local police investigate shit and report shit. And also the fact, in my mind, the fact that he wasn't a president, therefore I don't want to say nobody, I would say conservatively a fifth of the population of people that are talking about or know about or do talk about the JFK assassination are talking about the RFK assassination.
Right.
And they're both equally as nutty, especially considering, like I said, not in my notes, but this is hearsay in court probably, but like I've seen people talk about that Michael, whatever his name, the Aryan Brotherhood dropout, a 18th Street gang dropout that was like a shot caller in California prisons. Both of them said, and this is a conspiracy theory, or will lend to a conspiracy theory we talked about a couple weeks ago, both of them were locked up allegedly, according to them, and they do kind of corroborate each other's stories. They were both locked up with both Sirhan and Charles Manson. And both of them said that, for one, Charles Manson was not as nutty as a squirrel turd. That he would literally, the one guy said they would take him for interviews and shit like that, and he would literally walk by his cell and be like, "Showtime." And he was just showing out for the cameras, or was he feeding into something that he was told he had to do?
Right.
And then also, according to them, Sirhan was one of the smartest motherfuckers you would ever meet.
Yeah.
Which makes it weird that he would do some shit like this with so sloppily.
Well, you know,
Like the one dude, the fucking Hispanic dude, said that like Sirhan basically taught him how to read. I think he taught both of them how to read properly while they were locked up together. Like he would give them a word of the day and shit, and you had to like learn it. And then he wanted you to use the word by the end of the day while you were talking to him, like properly in a sentence. Like he basically was teaching fuck up felons and gang members to read and speak. The one guy even said, like, the Hispanic guy said, like, that's why he's the reason why he's able to sit down for interviews and like talk in any sort of proper way to get his points and his stories across, is because Sirhan basically made him no longer illiterate.
so even if Sirhan it is, I think we can go out on the limb and say Sirhan did shoot Kennedy.
He's like the Andy Dufresne of assassins.
You know, so he's not a completely bad guy.
Everybody's got a little good in 'em.
Everybody got a little crazy in him.
Everybody's born La Top La Blanca, the blank slate.
I've not been fortunate enough to make the acquaintance of many felons, especially murderers, that I know of.
Allegedly, many more than you think.
But I would think, in my way of thinking, in my little pea brain, somebody that would do that in prison for other people does have a little humanity to them.
Well, I think that's...
So I think that...
Yeah, it's probably just saying, like, the person that always had it, and, like, it took losing it to find it again, you know what I'm saying?
I think this kind of even makes the argument that maybe he was a Manchurian candidate.
Well, like, because I never saw anything saying that Sirhan was ever, like, unruly or wacko or anything like that after his arrest or anything. Like, he was fucking, from what I understand, he was pretty chill.
And actually,
cognizant to a point, but like, I guess he was a little wacko, not crazy, but just like fucking off.
Yeah, odd.
Yeah,
but like I said earlier,
he's a fucking immigrant.
Did you hear?
That sounded bad, but like
Jesus,
but like
right there, Donald.
Maybe he just wasn't fucking accustomed to the way we do things. Right. Back in the 60s, somebody like that, they probably would be like, he's a fucking weird cat. I'll tell you what.
I don't know. Are we about?
We're done.
Oh, okay. Isn't it true? I mean, I know I've heard, maybe I'm misremembering, but he does not have any recollection of this night.
That's what he claims.
Of doing this. You know, that could be the typical.
I saw somewhere, like, there's bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like, it depends who you ask. But, like, there might be bits and pieces of him being there, but not him
pulling the trigger,
shooting him. Or even, I've also read that, like, he has recollections of being there, but never having any recollection of bringing or having a gun. Yeah. Or, like, bringing a gun. But then there's also people say that he's like, yeah, no, I fucking loaded that bitch up and I threw it in my trousers. I threw it in my zoot suit pants. And I fucking started spinning my fucking pocket watch, walking down the street, and we went to work.
I don't know.
I walked up right behind him real smooth. I said, nobody paid any attention because all I did was I pulled my hat brim down and I went. I said, hey, guy.
I think this case is just as fascinating and probably should get just as much attention as the JFK is.
If not more. Because clearly they killed JFK 5 years before this. So clearly there's something else going on important enough that somebody offed his brother very much in the public eye, just like JFK. So clearly there's something afoot. It can't
and here's the thing.
And also because of the JFK thing, I find it hard to believe that you shouldn't even have been able to fucking get that close to this dude.
You would think. Well, that's the difference between killing or offing a president. There was no guarantee. I'm pretty sure that JFK, I don't want to say it was a lock, but he was, odds are, if you're a bet man, you probably put the money on him to become president.
JFK?
No, RFK.
Oh, I was going to say, again?
No, RFK.
Yeah, okay.
A, he's got the sympathy of the American people because of what happened 5 years.
B, he's got the rollover votes from his brother because he was not far off of his being a cookie cutter cutout of his brother's political standpoints.
Right. I really like it, just to reiterate that I think they could not, because there's always a chance, hey, he's not going to get elected. Let's play this out. We don't have to do it right now. If he gets elected, then we'll handle it like we handled it with his brother. But they were so scared of if it was a secret government plot they were so scared of him, they had to do it before the fact.
I should know this, but didn't somebody try to kill Bobby Kennedy before this?
That I'm not.
I could be wrong, but I think that I think there was a failed either assassination attempt or assassination plan on Bobby Kennedy before this even happened. I'm pretty sure. It might not even have ever grown to be an attempt. It might have just been a plan.
I'm sure there was.
I'm sure there's 100 assassination plans a day for any politician.
I would like to talk to a Secret Service agent who's in the know and just know, okay, how many legitimate threats are there a day? Whether it be
not even ones that they investigate, ones that because I'm sure they investigate a lot more than are worth a fuck.
Just okay, there has to be some that, whatever. It's so this.
Yeah. I'm sure half of them are they show up and open the door and some 15-year-old kid's there pissing his pants and they're like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here.
But just how many threats, whether it be mail or email or whatever.
Yeah.
How many they actually get?
There's got to be a ton. There's got to be thousands.
I would think so.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's got to be hundreds a day.
Millions and millions.
Dr. Evil level numbers. He said, I want $100 million. He said, Dr. Evil, it's 2002. That's not that much anymore. $1 billion, gajillion, $1 So yeah, I don't know, but
it's fascinating.
I think that both of the Kennedy brothers' assassinations were dirty as fuck. I don't know the truth.
I would like to know, what are the odds of two brothers being assassinated within 5 years of each other?
Right.
What are those odds?
Two politically inclined brothers. One a president, one a possible president.
I know. I think I covered it, but I don't remember the number of how many assassination attempts there have been in the United States history. It's not.
I bet you, realistically, the real number is higher than we think.
What we know, but how many we know about that? Especially the public.
Well, especially considering back in the day.
Right.
I'm sure back in there's probably nutso stories of the first 10 presidents. They're oh no, they had a sword fight in the front yard and Mr. Jackson came out triumphant, ran him through like the pussy Frenchman he was.
Well, okay, how many presidents have been assassinated? I know we've covered that. I don't remember the number. How many?
Kennedy.
Well, you got Lincoln, Garfield, or was it Garfield?
I was going backwards.
Arthur. There's
Kennedy was the last one. Correct?
No, well, assassination attempt. Actually, the last one was Reagan.
Attempt.
Yeah.
Well, the last one was, I guess Trump was not the president at the time, but it would be Trump,
But I'm just saying,
Reagan, Kennedy.
You can count the number of assassinations on one hand.
Yeah, the other one in the 20th century, I can't remember. Like, I'm on the same page as you. I can't think of who it was, but there was another 20th century president that there was an attempt made on his life, I believe.
I'd like to get that. How many?
Wasn't there one before Lincoln?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think it was either Garfield or Arthur, or I don't know, somebody.
And wasn't there one in
Somebody.
Roosevelt? Didn't somebody try to kill Teddy Roosevelt?
Yeah, they shot Teddy, but that's an infamous story. They shot him.
Teddy Roosevelt's a man.
He took the bullet and just kept giving his fucking speech.
And Teddy Roosevelt's still alive. People don't know
Probably.
that. Teddy Roosevelt, yeah.
But, it is a very...
Teddy Roosevelt is Joe Rogan.
It is a very small number of... I don't know the numbers of, like, congressmen and political figures. I'd like to know that number. And then 2 of them were brothers.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds?
Right.
There has to be some foul play here.
The needle in the haystack.
A conspiracy.
Death.
I don't know. All right.
Yes.
I think that's going to wrap this episode up.
Sirhan didn't do it.
Oh,
Or not alone, at least.
he did it.
There we go. There's our rundown. What's our rundown? Sirhan
Pulled the trigger.
pulled the trigger. I don't know if he
Meant to.
officially killed him,
No.
but he was part of it, whether he knew he was or meant or did it on his own accord or not.
Or he had...
I would venture to say there was, if there was not another shooter, there was another person with a gun that was intended to be used on Bobby Kennedy in the event of the first one not doing the job. I think the government was either part of it or knew much more than they let out after the fact. And I think that if the government had a part in it, the mob very likely also had their foot in the door.
I concur. That's going to wrap up this episode
Yeah, it's just dirty as fuck all the way around.
of the GITM podcast. Thanks to everybody who... Oh, go ahead.
That goes for both of them.
Right.
That same synopsis can be used for both Kennedy assassinations.
Right. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys. And if you watched and didn't chat, shame on you.
I gotta pee.
For all you people listening in the podcast realm, thank you.
Leave a review.
Preferably good. Leave a comment on our YouTube channel and call us probably a little
Fat, gay, dumb,
call us all that
ugly.
shit. Or just leave like last week some random shit that makes no sense.
That works too.
We appreciate that just as much. So we will see you next week. I don't know what we were covering, but I'm sure actually I have an idea.
Probably be sexy.
No, it's not gonna be sexy. I think we're gonna go
Cover slavery.
no,
Let's just get it out of the way.
We haven't done a paranormal or afterlife type thing in a while. So
Let's just do an episode where we sit here for 20 minutes and we list every racial slur.
that will be our last episode.
We'll just do it just front to back, top to bottom, and then we'll go, those are bad. Don't say them.
That didn't work for Papa John.
That's a good point.
They still hung him out to dry.
I still think that that's the biggest power move ever by the black community was Papa John saying some racist shit, and then the biggest one of them buying part of Papa John's.
Jesus Christ.
He reverse Django'd it. He's the Django of pizza. Shaquille O'Neal is the Django of pizza.
All right. We will see you next week. Take care.